Hi, I'm Sonia with Suburban Gardening. I've been growing amaryllis for years. The first time I encountered one of these beauties was at Easter time when my mom gave me one as a gift many years ago. I tell you, it was love at first sight, and I have been collecting and growing them ever since. Whether you have an amarilla that was given to you in wax, or whether you have a bulb that does not have wax, the application is the same. Let's take a look at how you keep these beautiful flowers coming back year after year. As you can see, I've decorated these for Christmas time. I've loved to put bows on them and decorate them with a little poinsettia flower, but all of this has got to come off so we can get inside and take a look at this bulb and see if it still has some good integrity. I'm going to cut off the bow. Now let's save this bow because we can use this in a little bit. And I've got to get this wax off of here. So let's take the bow off of both. All right, the bows are off, and I want you to see that on this amarilla in particular, there are two flowers coming up right here on this one, which already has this beautiful flower. Now, all we have to do is to loosen up this wax, and hopefully we can just gently pull it off. Oh, be extra careful that we don't break off the flower. Needs a little bit more space. There we go. All right, so the wax we're just gonna throw away, but I want you to see the integrity of this poor little bulb. It's soft and it's hollow. Can you see that? I should not be able to squish that like that. All righty, so we are not gonna take off too much of this. This actually helps it stay protected. Let's see what the other one looks like. This one also has a flower coming up here, and I don't see a flower in here, but it's got some beautiful leaves coming up. Now this one's going to be a little harder because it doesn't have the big crack, so I'm just going to keep whittling away at it until I can get my scissors down in there, because I can feel, oh, this one has a much better integrity. It's much harder. I'm going to try to cut this without damaging the bulb inside. There we go. Oh dear, I can see it now. Can you see this one? This one is molding. So that's a real problem. So let's pull that guy out of there as gently as we can. I hope you can see in the camera that there's mold on this one. So we absolutely need to make sure that we pull all of this off, because we can't be putting it in the dirt with mold on it. Now, as you can see right down in here, I can see a couple little roots trying to come out. The roots are going to come down from here, and they're going to pull the water up through this bulb. I'm hoping that the bulb will get stronger. I've had a lot of success in the past, and it'll pull all of the nutrients up into the bulb and out through the flower. And these new flowers that are coming out are going to look amazing. What I'm going to use to put these amaryllis in is some regular potting soil, not garden soil, but regular potting soil, and I'm going to add a little bit of peat moss. The peat moss has a little acidity to it, and it's also very well draining, and the amaryllis are going to love that. Here's our beautiful potting soil. It's just out of a bag. I got it at the hardware store, and right here I have some wonderful peat moss. Now this I also get at the hardware store, and I'm not going to put a ton in. I think the ratio is going to be like 3 to 1, but I know that these amaryllis really like the peat moss, and they really like to stay a little bit moist. Also, what the peat moss does is it causes it to be rather fluffy. It causes the soil to be fluffy, and these roots need a fluffy soil so they can get in there and grow quickly. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to mix it. Mix in that peat moss. Looks really good. Oh, I love it. A little more. At this time, we are not going to add any fertilizer. The bulbs have already started flowering. Whatever they did to them when they were in the nursery, they already gave them what they needed. And this potting soil is very rich in nutrients right now. Now in the springtime, that's a whole different story. We'll take a look at them and see what they need. The type of pot you're going to be looking for is a pot that's going to leave a little bit of room around that amaryllis. They like to be a little bit snug, so we don't want to get too big of a pot. Now I notice that this one has a plug on the bottom, so let's get that out of there. You guys know how to do this. We're just going to fill it up. Now notice I didn't put any water in this potting soil. Normally I would, but I don't want them to be super wet. I'm going to put them down in there, and I'm going to fill up around here. Now I also know that that peat moss is going to absorb water, and so I don't have to worry right now about adding water into my soil. All right, you guys, that is about all there is to it. Let me get the other one and put it in dirt as well. We're going to give them a little bit of water, and then they're going to be great. Remember, don't forget to take the plug out of the bottom. I absolutely love these pots. They're so beautiful. These guys are going to be sitting in my house for another couple months, so I want them to look really cute. I'm sort of pushing it down in there so it'll make contact with the soil. Notice how I'm leaving the neck of the amaryllis up. Very important to do that. We do not want to sink these down into the soil like you would a regular bulb. I know that the soil is going to settle a little bit, so it's even going to go down in a little bit lower. Okay, I think we've saved them. There you are. Be careful not to bump this because it's loose in this pot. So we're going to set it somewhere where it just can be on its own and it can grow those roots and get nice and rooted in. Didn't these amaryllis come out beautiful? I absolutely love the pots that they're in. They're going to stay in my house until springtime when the temperature gets to be about 50 degrees at nighttime and higher, because they just don't like the freezing cold weather. But if you don't want to keep them in the house, the blooms are done and they're looking a little ragged, put them in a dark place like a basement or a garage. As long as they don't freeze and you keep them a little bit damp, when you put them out in the springtime, they might rebloom for you. So that's always fun to try. Remember that these amaryllis are tropical plants. Zone 9 and 10 are their favorite. I'm in zone 10, we actually grow these in the yard. I see houses, they have them all through their flower beds and they look absolutely beautiful in the spring. Now I keep my amaryllis in pots. I'm going to put up a picture of what they look like in the winter time and you'll see why. I like to bring them out when they're absolutely glorious, and then I tuck them back away when they're resting and they're regaining their strength again. When you find the place in the garden that they really like, they are going to multiply and you are going to have many, many amaryllis. I really enjoyed doing this project with you today. Amaryllis is one of my absolute favorites. You can see why. They're just such a stunning flower in the garden. They make such an impact. I hope this encourages you to get them in the soil and then put them out in your garden, and you'll have them for many years to come. Thanks for stopping by, you guys. I'll see you in the next one.